Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
Flight Sports TV, that's where it's at.
Flight Sports TV.
You already know what it is, man. It's Flight Sports TV, man. We got a special guest in the building. The legendary Bone Collector is in the building. How you doing today, sir? Talk to the people. It's Flight Sports. We live.
Man, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, man. I'm very glad to be on the show, and just excited to see some of the questions you might have for me, man. Good to kind of feel the support and love, especially with you being. I was told that your broadcast or your representation is out of Pasadena, somewhere I'm very familiar with, somewhere where I grew up.
Yes, we have some representatives in Pasadena. You know, my manager, he works out there in Pasadena, so that's where he's at. Like I said here, we actually in Long Island. I'm in Atlanta. We really all over right now, to be honest with you. We got hands on deck everywhere, to be honest with you. It's Flight Sports. Yeah. So before we get into everything, man, let everybody know where you from. Let's talk to us.
Well, I was born in Tyler, Texas, but I was raised in Pasadena, California. That's where I worked on all my skills and developed the opportunities that I, to this day take advantage of, being able to train and play basketball on a high level. Right.
Speaking about playing basketball at a high level, let the people know what inspired this basketball journey anyway. Let's start from the beginning. How did you get introduced to this game?
I was introduced to the game by my father. He was a late bloomer, to say the least. He started watching basketball when he was a little older, so his favorite player was Michael Jordan. He used to take me outside and practice on me before he'd go play in the real regular games and against the adults. And he just showed me that basketball is played in three ways. It's mental, physical, and spiritual. And when I was young, I didn't, take heed to that. I was like, what am I going to learn from that? That wasn't something I was familiar with. But as I got older, he was right. Those three elements are the only elements you use in sports, in all sports, I think. And I don't want to say all the elements you use, but those are some major elements. And it gave me the ability to kind of change my ball handling skill set to where it's more weaponized than the average player. So once my dad started showing me that kind of stuff, that drove me from 5 years old all the way up until now to master what I'm doing to the point where you can actually teach other people how to do it.
Right, and that's kind of like the beauty of this game. It never truly ends. It's just different phases of it. Everybody kind of knows you, from the And One days. Obviously the Bone Collector, the legendary name. Talk about, you say you was harnessing in your ball handling skills, something different than everybody else. When did you know? These handles something serious, because I'm from New York. Handles, everybody got handles, whether you a center or whatever. That's like elementary. You gotta learn.
When did I know? I think I knew my handle was different when I would go to play in games, and instead of just like making my defender like move a right way and all that stuff and creating separation, people would fall a lot. So, watching people fall since I was about, 6, 7 years old, kids and then adults. And then now every time I play, it was just, interesting to think that I had developed my skill set so good to where I could do a move and you could actually fall. And I don't think it's a. I'm not saying it in a point to maybe even brag. I just think it creates a weird nostalgia in a genre that's a created game anyway. Naismith just made up the game himself. So if it's a made up thing in your imagination, why not imagine that you can do the most extreme thing with the ball, and that's make somebody fall. So that's when I knew, and it was young, about 7, 8 years old. I knew my handles was different because I didn't see anybody doing that.
Right, that's definitely a true skill. Talk about the and one days for 1 second. Were you one of the first guys when it first started? Let us know, when did you come along to and one?
Well, truth be told, I never played on an and one. I've only played in Rucker Park EBC. And let me say that a different way. When the and one mixtape came out, I wasn't playing and one. I was playing in the EBC Rucker Park and at Dykeman summer tournaments.
Okay.
When and one was done, I say 2010, they started a road tour called and one Live, which I participated in a few games, but I have never technically signed with and one. So.
Okay, yeah, because I knew it was some sort of ties there, but I didn't know it was nothing official.
Yeah, the thing is, the reason why there was ties is because me, Hot Sauce, Headache, and all the guys who were on the original tape, I knew these guys for so long. And Hot Sauce and I, before he got the name, we ran into each other on a few commercial shoots. One being the Stickman commercial with Pharrell and Lauren London and a few other guys. And we had the opportunity to sit in the mirror and make up 8 or 9, interesting crossovers and compare them. And so we developed a good friendship within the streetball world back in, that was the early 2000s and still to this day. So the connection was always there, but I just never signed. And all the players that were on M1, from Escalade to I'll Be Right Back to Ali Mo to Main Event to Shane the Dribbling Machine to everyone, those guys are all I consider family anyway, because I played in tournaments with them and I played on teams with a lot of those guys. And so that's where the correlation came together. But, it's neither here nor there. It's all in the same
Right.
sort of pot.
So you brought up some legendary names. You brought up Escalade, Hot Sauce. I mean, it's crazy. Coming from Pasadena with the handles that you had, what was it like coming from a Hot Sauce from Atlanta? Guys like AO from North Philly. What was it like when you touched down with guys similar, to how you approach the game? What was that like?
That was amazing, because I think since that time, there's not been many new moves created. We were in such a good space, and kind of bouncing ideas off each other. Where AO and I'll Be Right Back and Hot Sauce and myself and Skip to My Lou and Ali Mo and all these guys that we're naming had their own specific sort of move they could do, and we wanted to learn it. And we tried it all. And shout out to Sham God as well. All those moves in the early 2000s that were created, I don't think there's, they've been matched to this day. So, of course, we had a special bond. And I hope that, the kids understand and appreciate how amazing it was to see those athletes, not including myself, just be able to share their knowledge on how to handle a basketball. And,
right.
It's just a sport, but at the end of the day, it does bring some sort of mental health release to go out and do what you love. So shout out to all those players.
Absolutely, definitely. Sometimes, like when you go to the court, you might be dealing with something. It's just when you playing, you don't even know what the hell is going on. You just focus dead set on what you got going on. You brought up like the whole legendary era. That was a whole era that was going to live on forever. That's era stamped in basketball history. Like I said, you're definitely a part of that, and it's going nowhere. Where I want to talk to you, did you play actual organized basketball? Can you let us know your career? How did that go?
Yeah, my professional career started right after my. So I'll rewind a little bit. In 2000 I believe. I started playing in Rucker Park to 2005. And Rucker Park was just a summer basketball tournament, but it featured all and mostly collegiate level or NBA caliber players. So being that league was so prominent at the time, I won MVP in that year, in those years that I played, in each one of those years, and I started to get notoriety, and so teams would notice me. So I would get invited to G League teams and overseas teams, and I got invited to the G League, which I did well in, and then I got invited to a camp out in Orlando with the Magic. This was a long time, maybe 2007. I didn't take those opportunities because I had another opportunity to play with the Harlem Globetrotters, so I did that instead. But as soon as I finished my season with the Globetrotters, I went on to win a championship over in Brazil internationally. Then I came back to the United States to play in the ABA, where I got MVP 2 years. I played 3 years in the ABA. I got MVP two of those years. And I went to the championship all 3 years that I played. Unfortunately, we didn't win the championship. And then from there, I played under Coach Don Casey for a little bit, who was a former coach for the Chicago Bulls. And from there, I shifted gears and I started to do personal training for my NBA clients that I had already, developed relationships with. So my professional career, I could have ended it there, but it didn't end because right now I have been put in the draft pool in a few leagues currently in 2022. Big Three and some international teams have some interest in me playing professional right now. So, with that being said, I think I'm still kind of at it, but I definitely have shifted gears to kind of reach back out and teach the stuff I know to the high caliber athletes and any caliber athlete.
Right. Speaking about the caliber of athletes that you're training, can you let some of the people know, because we see over the years what you've been doing, let everybody know some of the NBA talent, some of the collegiate talent, just overall universal. Let everybody know some of the bases you done touched.
Right. Well, I've had the opportunity to share the floor with so many different artists and athletes. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Tyreek Evans. There's a few others, collegiate players, Amari Hardy and his brother. Right now I'm working with the Ball brothers, Lamelo and Liangelo.
Triple B's.
Triple B, shout out to LeVar.
Shout
out. There's also a few college players that I train right now that are on their way to the pros. Shout out to Ron Artest Jr. I'll be working with Ron Harper Jr. in the summer. I'm setting up what's called Bone Collector Academy, so it's hard for me to rattle off all these college and pro players that I know. I'll be working with and looking forward to working with Mike Conley Jr. and Paul George, hopefully this summer. There's so many people that I can go through. KCP, Andre Drummond, those are people that I'm scheduled to work with this summer. It's a lot of names, a lot of people, but I'm keeping myself busy, and I'm creating a program where it's much easier for the players to learn how to do this. And right now I'm doing the academy, Bone Collector Academy, where we teach that. Right now I'm in Chino Hills. I just finished going over the summer with LeVar and his kids on what they're going to do when the Drew League starts in a couple weeks. And then
right.
we talked also about Jello is on his way to. He's already on a G League team, but Jello is on his way to the NBA. And before he goes there, there's a ball handling program that I'm creating for him specifically to help him and better his ball handling when he gets to that high level where when the body's all tired and everything's slowing down, you can still control the floor being a guard, and his dad is really a really humble guy, and it's always good to see African American fathers support their kids and support me to where I can support my kids. Um, this is a good thing, and we're going to continue to do that throughout the summer. And then from there, there's a few guys that I'm going to work with, and we're doing academies, and we're starting in Chino Hills. Right now, we have an academy coming up. It is going to be June 27th through July 1st at the 3-Point Play Zone out here in Chino Hills. This is where I am now. And it's going to be amazing. We're going to have a bunch of high-level guys here. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be more than just basketball here. There's going to be vendors here, food vendors, and there's also going to be mental health coaches available for kids who may just have things that they need to express and need to be, kind of led in the right direction. We try to make sure we provide all three elements when we do things, just so it's easier to make the parents feel comfortable, because I have children myself, and I figured if I sent my son to a basketball camp, I would want somebody very responsible there to teach him how to be more than just a basketball player.
Right. Yeah. How many kids do you have, sir?
Just 2 boys.
2 boys. Okay. Yeah, I have 2 boys as well. What's the ages?
16 and 5. Excuse
Okay.
me, 6.
How's basketball? Have you introduced them to the game as well?
Absolutely. I didn't even have to introduce them. They already know.
Absolutely. I want to get back to the whole Triple B situation that you got going on. You said that you spoke on Jello. What's some of the areas that you see at Jello that he can improve on? What are you targeting, on these workouts? Can you let us know anything?
I can't let you know anything because right now, because they're like, LeVar has his kids on a certain regimen, but I will tell you, just overall, you won't see the Jello that you're used to seeing. He won't be the same, that's for sure. Specifically working on things that are individual to his game that I'm not allowed to disclose, but everyone should be, excited to see how he's going to change his game and make it fit to any aspect, whether it's NBA or whatever the situation may be.
Right. We got the legendary Ball Facts in the building. What's going on? We got the Bone Collector in the building, the legend. What's going on? How you feeling today, sir?
I just came to pay some homage to the Bone Collector, and say, bro, we believe in you. It's a lot of us been out here rooting for Liangelo, right? And so many people saying, you can't really work on your game, elevate your game. And we've seen you through the years with longevity just last and progress and go from, just street ball to collegiate ball to professionals. And we see, you in the gym with the Bar Brothers, and it gave us a lot more hope because we believe the vision. But when we see other guys like you that support family, support the kind of the same thing that LeVar supports, to be in their corner, man, respect to you. And we believe that, you're going to get the job done.
Hey, thank you for that, because that's what I was telling him before. I don't want to, make this too of a touchy subject, but race is very touchy in the world we live in. And maybe I'm not allowed to say that it's great to see a Black father raise 3 African-American children and then support another African-American man just trying to do the same thing with his mixed children in a world where that's not even comfortable. So bigger than even basketball, in my opinion, because if you believe in that, then it's an idea, right? It's just an idea. I'm a basketball player teaching another person how to do something that he already loves. So it's not even who gets the reward is the point, right? I think we all kind of root for that in our lives, because you don't grow up and, no one says, hey, I want to grow up and be somebody, and you don't do this, and these are the roads you need to take. Well, my dad always explained to me that you were born somebody, and the roads you take are always the substance will create your so-called legacy. And you don't need your legacy televised. The legacy doesn't have to be broadcasted. It's a feeling. It's an energy. So when you see me and Jello on the floor, we both work hard as shit to do whatever we got to do. So I really appreciate that. And that's why I work so hard to create these programs with the academy so we can keep the nostalgia going, not just for basketball, but just for our own, mental health, reasons.
Facts. Also, what was it like working with Lamelo? The guy that hit the ball rolling in the NBA as soon as he touched down, rookie of the year, overcoming all the obstacles. What is it like working with these guys?
Oh, it's amazing to work with these guys. They work very hard. They're both very talented. They're to be at the height that they are. They're both pretty much, if they, in high school, I believe one of them played center. So they're like, very, very skilled, very smart. And it's always good to see people who are already getting notoriety work hard. So watching Lamelo and Jello work out every day and seeing how hard they work gave me a new motivation to kind of better, my regiment, so to speak. So, and then us collaborating was, beautiful. We got, so much good stuff, so much good content. And who knows what's going to happen in the future, but I know it will be exciting.
Right. Absolutely. Ball Facts, you got any more questions on this front?
No, man. I say what I wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? Flight, you gonna have to come on my channel. We'll chop it up after this, man.
Facts.
Keep doing a great job on your platform. You know what I mean? You got the Bone Collector here. Great energy, man. Y'all keep it up.
Yeah, it's facts. Bone Collector. Let's talk about sneakers because you done been all over. Are you a sneakerhead?
No.
So what's some of your favorite pairs of sneakers to run in? Do you switch it up?
I only wear 3 shoes in particular, and all of my friends could probably tell you what they are because if they know me very well. Nike Cortez, Jordan 14s, and Jordan 10s because those are the 2 shoes I play in, and Nike Cortez because I grew up in Pasadena and LA. That was the only shoe that was affordable as a child, and it looked cool. So, the nostalgia of wearing those, I don't really go too far outside of that. No, for no particular reason.
Right. That's cool. What was it like stepping foot playing basketball in New York City? I know you played in damn near probably a bunch of states everywhere, or even international. What was it like in New York City, the mecca of basketball?
New York City was, I would say, the first time I was able to sense the crowd was a part of the game. So, you start to hear hecklers and people motivating you to play harder and they're right in your face. New York was a different vibe, if that's so to call. It was different because you can go to a game anywhere and, have fun, get the crowd involved. But in New York, there's a whole different respect that comes with the way you score. And I guess in New York they call it
right.
It's not like there's a certain swag that every player has. So I lived in Harlem for all the time I was there. Shout out to the Polo Grounds.
Yo, what's so crazy, Bone Collector? I damn near grew up in the Polo Grounds. Right across the street from the Rucker. That's really the trenches. When you step foot over there, that's not that's not Broadway. You understand over in that area? I don't know if people know that.
Well, with that being said, so you obviously know when I was in Polo Grounds for all those 5 years, just seen a lot of interesting things. I learned a lot about I was getting to my point, and that's good to know. Small world, bro. I probably ran into
it's facts, yeah. I'm from Long Island. I'm from Hempstead, but I'm all over. Like anytime I step foot in New York, I touch it down in Harlem first. I'm on 118th and Morningside. I got a crib over there. And then I'm out in Harlem. And like I said, the projects out there is crazy. I'm telling you. It's wild. It's another animal.
It is. So with that being said, New York was one of those first, places where I saw that people would bring their swag. That's why I mentioned Harlem. Harlem players don't play like Brooklyn players. Brooklyn players don't play like players from the Bronx. They all play different. It's weird to say that, but
yes,
each borough has a certain swag. Staten Island basketball players don't play the same as the players out in Brooklyn. That's just how it goes. Everybody's known for something also, which was new for me. Coming from LA, seeing nothing but either TV and movie stars or gang members. You see one or the other. And then going to New York, you start seeing guys guys coming to the game in Bentleys, but they're not even rappers or anything or stars or anything. They just what they call them? They willies.
It's that fast life.
They was living like, that's where those movies about, Paid in Full and all those movies come from. I actually saw that. Like, and it was amazing to see that there was a different vibe. So it was during a time that was very touching, but I'm very blessed that I was able to survive and experience some of those things. Because during the early 2000s, the West Coast and the East Coast didn't get along too well.
Right. That's crazy. Let's fast forward 1 second. You did participate in the Big Three, correct?
No, I have not yet.
What's your thoughts on that league? Do you see that as a viable option? Would you be interested in that, or are you comfortable right now on your journey?
I'm taking all, as they say. I want all the smoke. Is that what they say? I'm ready. I'm not turning down anything. Right now, what I'm doing is making sure that all my professional clients, from Jello and all the way down to Tyreek Evans, all these guys that I work with, I'm making sure I create the right product for them moving forward, as far as being their trainer, because I feel like my job isn't done. There's moves I want to teach people how to do my hesitation move. I don't think many people can do it, so I want to teach people how to do it. So at the moment, I'm dialed in on that, but at the same time, I am getting ready to play professional basketball. So Big Three, CBA, ABA, G League, even NBA, anything that I could do to further my skill set, I'm going to do it.
Right. Do you have a relationship with Ice Cube?
I met him before, but just in passing.
Okay. That's cool. So right now, what's going on with Tyreek Evans? Do you expect him to have a good season next year? How's he coming along?
Tyreek Evans is coming along excellent. He's one of the most underrated ball handlers I've ever worked with. We always categorize greatest, and top this and top that. Tyreek Evans has changed everything about his skill set, so he will be able to cover all those bases. Is my point. He's good at everything now. So whatever
he's go ahead.
No, I was going to say he worked himself into such a good, in such a good basketball shape that sky's the limit for him. He should have been in the playoffs this year for sure. He could have helped the team for sure.
Is he back in Sacramento?
Right now he's not in Sacramento.
Indiana?
If I'm not mistaken, he was picked up by a G League team in Indiana.
Okay.
But I can assure you that he has been picked up by a G League team, and he is on his way back.
Okay. So do you think Indiana is a viable option, or is the whole playing field open, or you really can't touch on that right now?
Yeah, I can't really touch on what their personal options are, even though I know about it. But like I said, I don't even want to pigeonhole him into one particular G League team. But he is being scouted by the G League for sure, and he has been picked up by a team.
Right.
So, which team that is, I don't think it even matters. He's going to help wherever he goes. Yeah,
the more or less the question really was, is his options open, or is it just specific to one? But I think we got that. So what's next? Where you see the training, yourself, how you see things, how you see this whole thing in the next year or two?
Oh man, in the next year or two, I see myself changing the nostalgia of basketball, because as I get older, I seem to get better, and I'm going to dedicate the next 2 years to working on changing my physical attributes as well as my, physical mental attributes. So with the combination of me getting stronger and faster and more flexible and all these things, my training is going to elevate, my basketball skills will elevate. So I think in the next couple of years, I'll be able to give people a real good understanding of how I got the name and what their, familiarity with the people who know who I am, the people who follow me, the people who support me, the next couple of years would be that time to kind of express all that stuff and get that out there. And I got some big projects coming up. I'm working with the Lakers coach Phil Handy on an app.
Wow.
Where we're teaching.
Congratulations.
Also, thank you. And we've also been working on building a gym in China where we will implement the academy. So I just worked out a partnership deal with a long-term partnership deal, 10-year deal with a company out in China. Shout out to Angel Bay and my guy David. We're gonna build that gym, and we're gonna change some situations out there. It's gonna be excellent. I'm gonna be shipping my NBA guys from here to China, and then I'll bring a group of about 100 kids from China, bring them to the United States, let them experience both sides, and then we'll balance out the things that we need to learn together. It's gonna be some good things.
Right. Any merchandise? Do you have that right now?
Yes, sir.
Where can people find the merch?
I got my Bone Collector stuff online. You can just type in bonecollector.store and it'll pull up everything from the shirts to the shorts. I have a bunch of it on now. I have the shorts on too. You can see this stuff. The shorts.
Bone Collector shorts.
Yeah, I got the shorts. I got the little skulls on it or whatnot. Shirt says, I don't know if you can see that.
It says respected or get collected. Okay, respected or get collected. Where'd you get that name, Bone Collector? Did you give it to yourself? Was it self-anointed, or did somebody give it to you?
Somebody gave me that name in New York.
That's how it is in New York. People get names in New York.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how it goes. So when I made the first couple people fall, they started calling me different nicknames. My first nickname was rest in peace Escalade used to call me Larry from Texas, which was funny. And then
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. And then he started calling me the Little Apple because he said I dribbled like I was from New York. Then they started calling me Body Bag. And then after they called me Body Bag, they started calling me Bone Collector. When my man Dave, he ran on the mic, he called me and said, "We got to get on the mic and call you what you really are." And he said, "You're the Bone Collector, bro. Every time you play, somebody get hurt." So shout out to David Seals. Appreciate you hitting me up, and that name has been rocking ever since.
Yeah, you know what they say, the best names are the ones that people give you.
Yeah, exactly.
So right now, how would you rate, the overall, the development of some of the top guys that you're training, and even some of the lower levels? What can people expect working with you, to take their game to the next level?
Mm-hmm. Well, when you train with me or when you work with anything that has to do with the academy, you will get three things. You'll get physically better. You'll absolutely get mentally better, and you will definitely change the way your rhythm and your basketball skill set is done. So it's hard to guarantee anything when you're trying to, I guess, pitch a product, but this is not a product that I have to pitch because I do it every day. So I am the results. So when I tell someone, hey, if you work on this move over and over again and you do it like this, it'll literally work. It'll feel this way. You can tell by the feeling behind it. And then, like I said, it's just not, you can't, teach anything without those elements that we tend to stick to: physical, mental, spiritual. So all those three things in those combinations, what we can guarantee will be enhanced, where I can guarantee will be enhanced when you join any of my programs.
Right. Okay. So to let everybody know where they can find you on all social media platforms.
If you guys want to check me out on social media, follow me on Instagram at Bone Collector 6, on Facebook at Bone Collector, on Twitter at Bone Collector 23. You can find me on LinkedIn as Larry Williams, aka Bone Collector, and you can find me on TikTok as Bone Collector Unlimited. TikTok Bone Collector Unlimited, and YouTube Bone Collector Unlimited. Those are all the sites that you can check me out on. And if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up.
Right. How important is social media right now, if in business, in this climate?
Social media has, been very beneficial in for businesses, for promotions and advertisements and so on and so forth. So, for what I do, social media is very, very valuable to kind of get the message across states and across different continents, and to be able to work and collaborate with other, people in other places and get it done in a timely fashion. But also on the flip side, social media is something that has also numbed us to our being our humility as human beings, in my opinion.
Right. It's always like some gifts and some curses with it all. Almost like you got to be some type of perfect balance. You know,
Mhm.
I agree with you. It's some good and it's some bad. It's all about what you do with it.
Yeah,
Some people take it, for, how they want to. So,
yeah.
what's next? What can people expect from the Bone Collector?
Well, right now we're just traveling and doing a lot of camps. I just left Indiana. I just came back from Seattle doing the BC Academy. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to Adam from Famigo. We're just traveling to different state to state, doing different academies, 4 and 5 day clinics. And my next one, I'm going to be doing one in Salisbury, North Carolina. But my most current camp I will be doing will be in Chino Hills, 3-point play zone, June 27th through July 1st, which is where I am now. I just finished a camp in Long Beach. Shout out to Ray Holgett and the guys over at In the Lab, which we will be doing 3 times a year. So you can look out for me on the West Coast. I'll be putting a lot of flyers on my story that'll give you direction to any of these camps that I'm talking about now.
Right. So what if you're on the East Coast and would they have to travel to you? How would that work if somebody was interested out east?
If you're interested, like, you can always DM me or hit me up on any of those social media outlets, or you can also hit up my managers if you have any inquiries about booking or doing something in those areas. Let me get the emails for you guys. Pardon me 1 second. Yep. So you can always reach out to, hold on 1 second. Yes. So if you have any inquiries about doing camps and clinics in other areas, I'm always traveling. I can travel anywhere and do these clinics and camps. We just need to go over the details. You can reach out to Nina at bonecollector.management. And then also you can reach out to Jordan at bonecollector.management for any inquiries you may have anywhere in the United States and across the world.
Right. We got all access. What's the deal, Dex? We got the legendary Bone Collector in the building. It's Flight
Yes,
Sports TV.
sir. Let's go. Shout out to Flight Sports TV, the machine, the voice of the voiceless, the people's champ. Shout out
Yes, sir.
to Bone Collector, the great legendary, iconic ball handler and supreme basketball mind that we have before you today. Shout out to the chat and all of the questions and the chatter that's going on there. And shout out to everybody in YouTube landscape that's rocking with Flight Sports TV today, because it's anything you could be doing right now, but you chose to come here and rock out with us, and we're giving you a wonderful treat with the beloved mindset of the Bone Collector. Yes, sir, brother. How you doing? I'm a native of Pasadena myself. They don't call me All Access, but they call me Dexter. So it's beautiful to see someone rise out of the muck and myrrh of Pasadena's northwest side to be in the situation that you is, to influence a whole lot of people, and especially the youth, because that's where it seems like we're losing our grasp it with the youth. So there are you with your basketball skills, and you translate it into something very, very positive as an outreach program. Shout out to you and your academy and everything that you are doing, and everything that you got going forward. We appreciate. We pray over your endeavors, brother. Ball collector, I have
Thank
a
you.
question for you. Yes, sir. Salute. I have a question. Now, how long is your training sessions?
All training sessions are individual training sessions are hour and a half to 2 hours. Anything we do in the academy is always based on the structure of stations. So you'd probably spend 30 minutes to 15 to 30 minutes at each station, and the stations would be between 4 and 6 stations. Two of those stations include physical work. When I say physical work, that means things that require no basketball, which is plyometrics, box jumps, kettlebell swings, lunges, things that require you to use your hip flexibility and so on and so forth, your core strength, so you can be a better athlete as well as a better basketball player.
Yes, sir. That's wonderful. Now, your collaboration with BBB, the Big Baller, and Liangelo and Lamelo, do all that applies to that, or are you just using some aspect of your training session when you're training them?
When I train them, when you have NBA players who are told and put in positions to do certain things for their team, you got to specifically create programs that are essential to what they're going to use. So for Jello and Lamelo, if Jello's ball handling program would be different than Melo's. Maybe not much, but it will be different. So in the academy, it's always adjusted by those particular attributes as well. So if you're a little more advanced than the average kid, then there's a certain amount of repetitions, and things will change in the most minute way, but it will be kind of adjusted to your skill set.
Yes, sir. And is most of that training dealing with ball handling or shooting, or it's a combination of everything?
It's a combination of everything. Complete, full body workout, from shooting to ball handling to speed to agility to flexibility, endurance.
Right. So that's what I was going to ask you about endurance, attrition, because during the course of a game, a whole lot is going on, especially in the mind and the body, and we know the mind and the body got to correspond with each other to bring forth that equilibrium. So that part of your training that's dealing with endurance, and what's the other part of it you said?
The mental approach.
And I'm going to ask you this question. It's a sneaky question. Who gives up first, Liangelo or Lamelo, during your training courses?
I can't answer that question, but that's a good question. I wish I could answer it, but let's just say they never give up.
Good answer. Yes, sir.
How important is diet? I haven't heard you speak on that yet. Do you have some diet regimens that you recommend? How important is meal nutrition?
The meal nutrition is just as important as the basketball side, because what you put in your body is what you get out of it, so to speak. So it becomes, as you get more and more developed into the game, it becomes a major factor in your skill set. If you watch the NBA, it takes a couple injuries to change a team's entire season, right? So health is that important.
And from your outlook, Bone Collector, and your training session today, how would you rate it? How would you rate your training session today?
It's always a 10. Every day. Every day.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We broke the knob so it doesn't go back down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're getting the best out of it, right? You're getting the best out of them, right?
Yeah, we don't play around, bro. When the time
I already know.
Yeah, we don't have time to go backwards.
That's a good one, brother. I love the way you said that. Is it anything that have surprised you with the two brothers that you have seen thus far?
No, not much. They just work hard. You know, at the end of the day, LeVar calls out the plays, they go execute. And that's just what it is. They're getting
Wonderful.
prepared for the Drew League this summer. So they've been going hard. Shout out to the Triple B brand. I can't wait to see them play in the Drew this year.
Right. Yeah. You spoke about LeVar. What is it like, you know, being around, you know, rubbing shoulders with, you know, the mogul, the entrepreneur, you know, motivator, you know, the father of the year, you know, what is that like, you know, rubbing shoulders with LeVar Ball?
It's pretty cool. You know, when I first started hearing about LeVar online, they made him, when I say they, I guess the media outlets portrayed him as someone who was very vulgar, someone who was hard to, you know, very opinionated, someone hard to, you know, I guess, communicate your ideas to, because he was so set in his ways. But that is the absolute opposite. You know, he's a very humble, very down to earth. And it's been amazing because he's given me some gems and some jewels to help me just further my basketball knowledge, and then just my knowledge as a person and knowledge as a man. It's amazing.
Right. You know, like I said, even LeVar Ball, like some of the qualities that he did with his children and stuff like that, it almost like it motivated me to be a father. You know, it's like I kind of want to follow some of those guidelines, you know, that he did. I want to have my own brand for my children as well. You know, I want to do things, you know, I want to train and things of that nature. I want to do things, be hands-on just like him. I want to be present, you know. I think he's inspired a new wave or just fathers. I don't think people, the media, he get on these talk shows, they never talk about that. You know, I feel like LeVar Ball, in my opinion, you know, just inspired a new wave, made it cool to be a father again, especially in the Black community. I think we needed something like that.
He can, yep, I agree. And I believe he would be accepted on the Father's Day t-shirt every year by anybody.
No, that's facts. But before we get out of here, Bone Collector, pardon me, do you have any shout outs?
I just want to shout out the gym that I'm going to be doing my next camp in, the 3-Point Play Zone. It's out here in Chino Hills. Big shout out to these people for allowing me the access to come and do a 5-day basketball clinic. It's going to be an amazing time.
Right. I want to let you know, Bone Collector, this is an honor to have you. You know, I hope this is the beginning of an amazing partnership. You know, anything that we could do at our level, we're willing to get to it and work on it tonight. You know, we don't like to waste any time. You know, you let us know, we got you. Anything we can do. It was an honor to have you. You know, all access. You got any closing remarks?
Yes, salute to Bone Collector for taking time out of his time, because we know that everything that he does, it contributes to a positive. And brother, we just wish you high frequency and good vibes on all your endeavors moving forward.
Thank you very much. And I want to say something to you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. This is a beautiful platform. Every time I do something that is pushing towards, you know, just making this my situation and the situation around me better, if I'm able to speak on that on your podcast and on your show, I would love to.
Okay, thank you, Bone Collector. We're gonna get up out of here. It's Flight Sports TV exclusive. We out.
Come back soon.
Flight Sports TV, man. That's my dude. I rolls with him.
You heard what the man said. It's Flight Sports TV.
Like I said, Flight Sports TV, that's where it's at.